And to this idea of like a job security, and I kind of wanted to ask you about that as well, because I know that, like, even from us talking about it, right, there's going to be people listening that's like, well, it doesn't sound like it's a quote unquote safe bet. You know, you might not get paid, you know, you might not make enough. What if you can't find clients, all that kind of stuff. And my argument's always been like, an actual job is no more secure. And you only have to look recently, you know, people are getting laid off at Tesla, people are getting laid off at Coinbase, all these companies where, you know, 6 months ago, they're all thinking these companies are going to do great and we have a job for the next 5-10 years or whatever. So kind of what is your thoughts on job security? And in terms of freelancing, is there anything above kind of living under your means and trying to build essentially as much as you can that you can do to kind of help make it more secure?
Yeah, the job security thing is one of the reasons why I ended up working for myself. Very early in my career, I saw someone get laid off for, you know, just downsizing, and luckily I wasn't part of that. And then I just saw the company keep going. One day he was there, the next day he wasn't. And I just thought to myself, like, wow, everybody here is expendable. Like, no one. I'm like, even me, even though like I didn't get let go, because what they did is they found me more valuable for whatever reason they did. I don't know what it was, but hey, here I am. And that was a huge eye-opening moment for me. And I thought, wow, no one's safe. And all it takes is a weird economic downturn. It takes something to happen in your industry. So there's a few things here that you have to pay attention to. Is that, you know, if you're in a full-time position, you have to look at your company and the company you're working for, because it might be a startup with, you know, Series A, Series B, and you've got millions of dollars in the bank, but how much runway do you really have? And anytime I have spoken to or interviewed, and I constantly interview at full-time companies just to evaluate them, and I'll ask them, you know, all right, you're VC invested, and then I'll ask the founder or however higher up I'm getting in the interviews, how much runway do you have? And it's a question that they don't ever expect a developer to ask, because I'm basically asking, like, how long is this company going to be alive if we don't get any more money? And that, you know, you're either going to get honesty or lies, and you'll know lies because they're kind of dancing around the topic.
The lies that they don't answer the question, like there's no number, just like, you know, kind of, we're expecting this and this, etc., etc.
We're expecting this. But if you get someone's like, oh, we know right now our runway is, you know, 2 years and 6 months, you're just like, okay, you've done the math. Okay, cool. I know how long we have here if we continue on our current trajectory with current spend rate, current burn. So that's a big one for me, is knowing that. And then also, you know, the industry that I'm in. Am I in an industry or a company that is going to be able to survive the current economic conditions? And that's something I take into consideration a lot also when I'm going to be taking on contracts or consulting. Right now, things are getting kind of rough. Am I going to go take a client who is developing a comic book application? Probably not. I love comic books. I've worked in the comic industry for many years, actually. I'm very familiar with it. But to me, that's too risky, because I don't see people spending their expendable income on comic book apps. Now, if you were to say, hey, what about a food delivery service, you know, like a grocery delivery service? What about a financial company that's been around for 100 years? What about, you know, something heating, electric, on a basic necessity? Those things people need and are going to pay for. Healthcare. All these things are going to be around. Even if people are struggling, they're still going to buy them, but they're not going to buy a comic book app. So I have to kind of evaluate that.
Okay. I
think I'm going off on a tangent here, so I apologize.
No,
if that's fine. It's going to be those two. And then the other one is just understanding, again, this is going to go back to like your risk tolerance. Like, how, you know, how long is this contract? You know, what am I going to be building? Do I enjoy working at this company? And then one of the other, this is a kind of a orthogonal thing that I think a lot of freelancers, consultants, contractors make the mistake of, is taking on too much work. Because this is a very feast or famine industry, meaning that feast meanings you're going to get 12 people approaching you for apps and you just don't have the time to take them.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, I can make all this money. What if I just worked, instead of 40 hours, what if I worked 60 hours?
Yeah.
And I did 40 hours here and I did 20 hours somewhere else. I could make all this extra money and I could save it for this investment, whatever. You'll just hit burnout really fast. So you have to be really careful of that. I've done this a number of times and realized I can't take on, 2 clients. Like if I have a full-time client, that's it. If 40 hours are used up, at the end of the day, I'm done.